Well, good morning. Get rid of this thing for a second. So good to be here with all of you. And for the little kids, I gave them a gift. And it's this necklace that I have. And you can tell me what's on that necklace. What does it say? Anybody know? Parents don't know, but you're going to know in a minute. It says Wwjd. And probably our little kids will not have a clue what that means because it was several years ago that this was a big thing. So adults, I'm going to ask you, what does that mean? What would Jesus do? And so this was a movement back then, and we had badges, and we put it on our backpacks, and we put it, I have a book that called What Would Jesus Do? And it's reminding us to think about what would Jesus do when he was making important decisions to help us make important decisions, because it's kind of challenging. And difficult decisions and situations. So we have to think about that if we're thinking about living like Jesus. When people are being hurt and put down, what would Jesus do? Jesus would find ways to care for them. When people are hungry and there is no way for them to get food, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus would help find food for them and find other helpers, like the Methodist church people that are helping get those boxes out to people in Oberlin. When people feel lost and feel like no one likes them, how many of you have days like that? I do. Jesus would hug them and call them friends. Of course, he couldn't hug them right now necessarily, but we can hug ourselves and we can wave at each other. When people forgot to take care of the world and threw their garbage all over the place, Jesus would remind people that we are called to love the earth and take care of it. That's what Jesus would do. He wouldn't throw that soda can out the window. He would save it. When people were pushed out of their homes and had no place to go, Jesus would help them find shelter. We hear all these stories about how Jesus helped the poor and the needy and worked for God's glory. Remember that story about how he washed his disciples' feet? That's what Jesus would do. When people were sick and sad, Jesus would visit them and let them know that he loved them. There were so many, many things that Jesus did to help his disciples understand that they could do all these wonderful things, and that each time they did, it was just as though they were working for him and loving him. So all of us need to ask ourselves, even the adults, what would Jesus do this week? We know it's going to be a busy week for everybody, but we always need to discover ways of how Jesus would work in your life. What would Jesus have you do to help others? See what you can discover this week and let me know next week what you found out and what you did. God bless each and every one of you. And remember, ask yourselves, what would Jesus do?